Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. Back at y'all with my second video of the day, man. Just wanted to touch on this topic as well, since I didn't go live last night. But like I said, I'll be back on live tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world, man. Let's talk about one of the biggest fights to be made in the sport of boxing right now. The fight that has a lot of boxing fans excited at this very point, like at this point in time. You know what I mean? A fight that's heavily demanded by the boxing fans, and that's Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis, back in October, I believe, coming off of a sensational, dominant first-round knockout of Luis Malima, top 10 contender in the 154-pound division, along with Vergil Ortiz beating another contender, you know, a vet at 154 pounds in 2 rounds, Erickson Lubin. You know, Jaron Ennis went in the ring, called him out, and he's been applying consistent pressure since the Luis Malima fight, in all honesty, to get this fight going. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of history between the two since being at 147 pounds. They are both now 154 pounders. And, you know, Vergil Ortiz, WBC interim champion. And I guess after the Luis Malima fight, Jaron Ennis is a WBA, I guess you would say, regular champion or interim champion. Whichever one you want to call him. They both have small versions of the major titles, right? Cool. So, you know, there's also been a lot of history between the two, because supposedly they were supposed to fight on, you know, there was I guess you would say, offers for both of them to fight. You know, for some reason, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but I guess, you know, they weren't able to see eye to eye a couple times. So, you know, the time is now. You know, Jaron Ennis feels like, you know, it's a perfect opportunity for both of them to fight. But there's been a little bit of pushback from Vergil Ortiz and his team in terms of, you know, like, why didn't you want to fight before? Why you want to fight now? Oh, you want to fight now? You didn't want to fight before? You know what I'm saying? And they saying that Vergil's the money man, and, you know, Jaron Ennis has to earn his way. You know, just a lot of absurd shit. Just sound like duck talk, to be honest with you. You see what I mean? Trying to fight Errol Spence, was coming off of a multi-year layoff and a bad beating against the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford. You know, it just seems like they're trying to take advantage of a wounded animal, in my opinion. You know, Errol Spence being the wounded animal. But regardless, you know what I mean? Jaron Ennis, somebody who's typically quiet on social media and doesn't really do too much talking, went on social media to pretty much say, yo, like, what's the holdup? What's the holdup? Like, we both available. We could fight right now. We ain't got nothing lined up. What's going on? Why is there a delay? Why aren't we hearing anything? Now, he didn't mention Vergil Ortiz, but Vergil Ortiz got word of this, and he responded at Jaron Ennis on social media, and he says, yo, like, you know, I just talked to my manager. We didn't get a single offer from y'all. We didn't hear anything. Now, I just find it funny that Vergil Ortiz, and this ain't Vergil Ortiz saying this, but, you know, there's all this A-side talk from Vergil Ortiz's team, yet y'all waiting to hear an offer from Jaron Ennis. As far as I'm concerned, how the way the business of boxing goes, when you're the A-side of boxing, you're supposed to be the one sending the offers. So it's like y'all indirectly admitting that y'all the B-side going into this fight with Jaron Ennis if you're waiting on an offer. You know, that's just what logic tells me. You feel what I'm saying? But Jaron Ennis said, yo, like, I'm not about to be going back and forth with you. You feel what I'm saying? No, Vergil Ortiz is like, no, like, you said no twice. You know, I didn't say no twice. And Boots like, man, I don't give a fuck about, like, basically paraphrasing. Man, like, I don't give a fuck about what you talking about right now. I'm not about to be arguing with you. Are we fighting next or not? That's exactly how the way Jaron Ennis has to approach it, man. Cut all the filler. Fuck all the extra shit. Y'all motherfuckers keep talking about shit that, you know, was in the past. We talking about right now. That's like the equivalent of, let's say, you and this other dude got beef, right? And you know, the dude telling you, oh man, I tried to fight, you know, I tried to fight you before, you didn't want to come off the porch, you know. Like, nigga, I'm outside your crib right now, you talking shit from your window, nigga. That's how I look at it. Like, you keep talking about saying what I didn't do or what I wasn't gonna do. Bro, I'm in front of you right now. You ain't got nothing going on, I ain't got nothing going on. So is you gonna get up out that motherfucking window, and is we gonna rumble or not? That's how I see it. Cause it sounds like you trying to justify not fighting him, talking about previous, you know, situations. Can you imagine if Errol Spence, because, you know, him and Bud had multiple negotiations that fell through, or at least one of them, right? Can you imagine if, you know, when Terrence Crawford came back to the table and Errol Spence was like, nah, I tried to fight you before, and you said no. Nah, I ain't gonna remember you. You said, nigga, If you don't cut it the fuck out, Errol Spence, shout out to him. Even though they had a failed negotiation in the past, they still came back to the table, talked like men, and they was able to get the motherfucking fight done. That's what Vergil Ortiz has to do. Stop fucking having your managers be 100% in control of your negotiations. That's the reason why you ain't a world champion. If you was a bit more assertive and, you know, you would have took it upon yourself to make these fights happen, you probably would have got that Xander Zayas fight. You probably would have been a world champion right now. But all you do is just allow them to dictate your fate. I just don't understand that. Like, real bosses don't do that shit. You feel what I'm saying? They say that the boxers are the bosses. Shit, I can't tell with this Vergil Ortiz situation. I can't lie, bro. I really can't lie. This man is like taking pride in being hands off with the business, and it's like, bro, you're about to lose. You already done lost that Xander Zayas fight. You feel what I'm saying? Because your team fucked it up by not wanting to go to Puerto Rico, right? Cool. So now you got a huge fight in front of you with Jaron Ennis, and your team talking that duck talk. You know what I mean? Pretty much saying how, you know, like, oh, the cards is in your hands. And nigga, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. How the fuck the cards in your hands and you sitting here waiting for an offer? How the fuck that work? You waiting for Jaron Ennis to send you a price for a fight, but somehow y'all the A side. That shit don't work like that. Floyd didn't never have motherfuckers. After he beat Oscar De La Hoya, you ain't never hear Floyd wait for a nigga to send him an offer. He was the one sending the offers. You know why? Because like he says all the time, he's the A side. You feel what I'm saying? So miss me with the bullshit in all honesty, man. I love the fact that him and Vergil Ortiz went back and forth on social media. But to be real, I agree with Boots. The talk, like, cut out the back and forth talk, man. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get this shit popping. That's the type of time I'm on. Y'all motherfuckers is keep worrying about what the fuck happened in the past and all that. Bro, what the fuck is up with right now? That's what I want to know. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, signing off. Hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. Peace.